is Sven Bos and thank you for purchasing the Tiny Grand Illusion. It's been a great trick to produce. It's very dear to my heart because it got my own name on it, of course, but it's a very exciting product for Green Lemon as well. Let's dive into the live performance. The Tiny Grand Illusion is quite exciting, to be honest, because it's been quite a personal project. So what do I mean with that is, of course, we got the Green Lemon project, and we do that during the daytime, and we work on it with a team. And the Tiny Grand Illusion is really a product of my own. So in the nighttime when I couldn't sleep, for example, I started designing and working on this trick. So it's been like a side project, but it became a main project. It's quite funny. It's based on the Fishy Fish trick by SEO Magic. And the first time I saw that trick, I was really blown away. I thought, oh, the method is very clever. And I knew the method from the printing industry. So when you go to the printing industry, there is a term, it's called twisting or turning. It means if you twist it or turn it, you will change the orientation. And the whole idea about this trick is based on our principle. So the first time I saw the Fishy Fish trick, I was blown away. I thought, this is really clever, really good. But to be honest, I didn't like the visual art of it. It was a fish and it didn't make a lot of sense. And it was just a one-phase routine. So when practicing it and performing it in the store, I noticed it was missing a lot of opportunity. And that's when the idea of the Tiny Grand Illusion came to be. Danique, thank you for joining the studio.
No worries.
Okay, so most magicians always want to be big illusionists, but the most magicians run into three problems.
Okay.
Can you guess any of those three problems?
They're expensive.
Expensive, yeah, you're right.
They're big. You have to
Big.
carry them around.
Carry them
all the time.
around. And the most difficult part? And
The time.
not the time, no, it's the assistant.
Okay.
And to be honest, I can't get you in the case as well, so I understand the problem.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, if we can find a solution for this, everyone can be an illusionist. So I found it.
All right.
You guessed two right, so you came up with a name for my new assistant.
All right. Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay, let's introduce my lovely assistant, Lisa. Well, and if I'm allowed to say, she will look lovely. Well, and imagine we're going to perform like a big illusion right now. So we're going to cut up Lisa in half. So we got the head of Lisa, we got the feet of Lisa, and we got the middle of Lisa. And what we're now going to do is going to switch up Lisa from the bottom to the top.
All right.
Okay? So we're going to turn her around. And here's the funny part. Do you know why I want to be an illusionist?
No.
No idea?
No.
I can be lazy. Because most people don't know is Lisa is the one who's really doing the magic. She's going wrangle up in all kind of situations and she's going to move through the cases. But I, in the meantime, just do a little show, you know? And I'm just going to snap my fingers. Well, Lisa does all the work.
Okay.
And you will notice that she will go from one place to the other place and she restores completely. Well, I know what you're thinking. Me and Lisa are working for a while now. Maybe we made some promises to each other, like, oh, we're gonna do this and this. But she's really good. Lisa is the best assistant out there. So she can be she can restore herself from any situation. So you know what? You can mix her up.
Okay.
So just mix her up. She's used to it, so I think she even like it. Perfect?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's use a card, this one. And you want it like this, or would you like it like this?
No, the other way.
The other way?
Yeah,
okay.
please.
And would you like it like this, or like this?
Yeah, like this, please.
Like this?
Yeah.
Fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So Lisa does all the work. I'll do the snapping. And she automatically got her feet right. She got her head right. And the middle should be an issue as well.
Great.
Okay, let's bring it one step further. So, you know what? You can mix it up. And you can put down the cards as well.
All right.
So I don't even want to touch the cards.
Like
Would you like to mix things up?
Yeah, let's change this one.
Sure?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You could have gone for this one, right?
Yeah.
You could have placed this one here. But you mixed everything up.
Yeah.
Well, the feet are already good. The middle Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, this doesn't look like Lisa. Well, I think you mix her up too good.
Yeah.
Well, it's she's getting older, you know. It's but if I knew this before, I would say like, oh, here's my assistant, and I will prepare you that she will look like this, because now she even
Yeah.
looks like it. And this
Great.
is the Tiny Grand Illusion.
Thank you.
Danique, thank you for joining the studio.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be honest. I love magic, but I've
Mhm.
always been interested in archaeology as well.
Mhm.
Are you interested in that as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I got something very unique then.
Mhm.
It's quite fragile, so we need to be careful.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you very slowly. So this is a real mummy, and it's quite funny because with this mummy you can do magic tricks as well. So I try to combine these two.
Mhm.
So imagine this mummy is like an assistant for me. So
Okay.
we can cut up the mummy. He's already in pieces when he arrives at a museum,
Mhm.
and we're gonna place the head to the bottom and the feet are to the top.
Mhm.
And we're gonna turn them around. You can do a small little magic trick with it. So, like in a museum, they can always fit the pieces together, and just like magic, we can fit these pieces together as well. So the mummy automatically corrects itself. Some people will think it's a curse.
Yeah.
Some people will think it's magic. I will leave it up to you.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can shuffle the cards as well. So just give it a good shuffle.
Okay.
Okay. Oh. Fragile. Just be careful.
Slowly.
It's a real old artifact, so slowly, and you can twist them around. Yeah, you're fine. You're doing good, great. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so just pick this card, face it down. Would you like the mummy like this or like this?
No, the other way.
The other way.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And would you like it like this
Mhm.
or like this?
The other way.
The other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just like the mummy, in a museum they always have to restore it in pieces. So when it travels, it always goes through pieces. But this is the same. From here, 1, 2, and this 1 and 2 is correct.
Mhm.
The third one should be right as well. And you can see it
Right.
restores itself.
Yeah.
You want to give it another mix.
All right.
Just be careful. Here you go. Oh, you used this. And you know what? You can place it down yourself. You can see how it works.
Okay.
It works for itself. It's really insane. Would you like to switch things up? Would you like to rotate it things, or maybe rotate these, or whatever you like?
This one.
Like this?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. From here, the head is already correct,
Mhm.
and then we got. Oh, hang on. The museum would be happy with this. Well, lucky for us. Well, I have to explain this to them, but it's your fault. Well, lucky for them, I included an instruction how it will look when it arrives, so it should be fine.
Nice.
And that's the mummy.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, let's see what you received. So, what you received really depends on the version you've got. So, you bought the mummy version or you bought the assistant version. So, let's have a look on the assistant version. And then alongside the instruction, of course, you found that, else you wouldn't be here. So, my lovely assistant, it will say on the text, and the rest are just normal. And then you got the feet, the head, and the middle. For the mummy version, this is what you receive. A card on the back that says fragile, but like they misprinted all the cards all over there. And 3 normal cards with the head, the feet, and the middle. So in the explanation I will use the assistant version, but it's exactly the same as the mummy version. Method-wise, it's just different graphics. So the mummy version is a bit darker, where this got like the bright red in there. This will got like a more darker skin vibe to it. And the this got fragile, and the other will say my lovely assistant. But the prediction is exactly the same, so there is no difference there. Also, the marks are the same, but we'll get into that later on. So let's go to the methods. Okay, let's talk about the presentation hook of this trick. So the designs are different, but the presentation is completely different as well. So for the lovely assistant, I always got a story where I tell most people want to be, most magicians want to be an illusionist like David Copperfield. But there are three reasons why most people can't. And that's because of money, space, you need a trick to move those illusions, and you need to find an assistant. And then I'm going to introduce my lovely assistant, and I will give a name, etc, etc, and I'll do the whole trick. Also, when I give them to the spectator, I'll also just shuffle it like crazy. And for example, the assistant's name is now Samantha. I will say Samantha's used to it. She goes all along with the show, so she's used to it. Shuffle her crazy up and turn them around. It doesn't matter. The idea about the mummy is completely different. So you can talk about a curse of a mummy, but what I like to tell about is a transportation movement between a museum and another museum. So you say, well, we got a very special artifact. We have to be very careful. It's fragile. So I'm going to show you to it. It's a mummy. It's a really old one. It's really fragile, but they mixed up the boxes in between when they did a transportation. And then you tell the story, but it wasn't matter because they found out it was completely all along, and you go on and on. But when you go give it to the spectator, instead of saying shuffle it like crazy, you'll say give it to the spectator, and then you say you can shuffle it, but bring it with enthusiasm. So they're really gonna shuffle it. And then you say, oh, careful, it's very fragile. And then you tell them to slowly shuffle the cards. So it's a really funny moment, and really the opposite of the other one. So that's important to keep in mind. You can use these cards for the presentation purpose. Main instruction. Okay, so once you got everything out there, so you got the head, the middle, and the feet, there's only a few things to keep mind of. So when I start off, I always start off with the head first, and the main part, and then the feet. And I got my lovely assistant on top. It's important to not hold it like this, because this will give it away how the trick went. Or if you don't ever need to use it, it doesn't make sense that you saw this before. But it will make sense later on. So my presentation is like, what are the three main problems? Most magicians won't be a big illusionist. One is like the space, two is the money, because illusions are very expensive, and the third one is finding an assistant. The one who got the most answers right came up with a name for the assistant. That's how I do my presentation, but feel free to use your own presentation. So, for example, someone says, oh, it's Sasha. I say, okay, well, my lovely assistant, Sasha. And if I may say, she will look lovely tonight, and then I'll show the cards in there. So, here's the main thing to keep mind of. The cards on the back are marked. And they are subtly marked. Some people think it's the way this is positioned, so this is thick and this is thin. However, you can use that method, but I won't use any of those. The real secret is in the shadow. So if you look at the shadow in the corners, so this got a shadow, this don't, this has a shadow, this don't. So one side will have the shadow. So here it got this shadow, here not. Of course it can be turned around, so it doesn't really matter. But there is one difference in the cards, and that's this got both shadows. So you don't need to keep track on what's the head and what's the feet, etc, etc. Because you only have to look at the shadow. And the main idea of this trick is when you put the cards down like this, is that this must be in the middle. So you always make sure this is in the middle, and then you always make sure the shadow will point outwards. And that we can make sure of that by the way we rotate the card. So now it's already on the outside. I can just turn it over like this, because it's already on the outside. And you see the face matches the right way. If I turn it over like this, the shadow will go to the inside and it will be misplaced. So you don't want that. So this one is like this. Right here there is a mark more. So that's a scratch in the middle. It can be like this or like this. And just make sure the mark of the scratch always goes to the head. So once you turn over these cards, you know where the head is, and you know where the scratch is. If you don't like to turn over the head first, there is also a scratch on the place but with the shadow head. So you can always achieve them or like recognize them by the mark. And the marks always points to each other. So it's always like it's a continuous mark. So this one will be turned over. The mark is right, so it should be here. If it's like this, you know the mark should go that way, so you turn it over like that. So the mark will go that way. So and with this one it's different. It's like the shadow is here. It needs to go to the outside like always, so make it over to the outside. If it was laying like this, it's already on the outside, so you can turn it over like this. So the only thing you need to keep in mind is the position of the shadow. So if it's like this, everything needs to turn over like this. So like this, or like this. But as you see, there is now a lot of difference in the movement. So what I recommend is when you notice everything needs to turn around, you see which got the uppercase. So it's three cards. So you always need to check, okay, this one needs to go like this one needs to go like this. And of course, if I move it like this and this, it will be the same. But for the explanation, it makes it more difficult. So if I turn it over like this, it's the same if I turn it over like this. And it's important to find a rhythm in there. So for example, these need to be turned and this one needs to be twisted. So turn, twist, turn. But if you do it like this, you will give away the method. So it's important that you do it like this. So the head is correct. So turn. This one is correct. Turn. Now you do a delay. So they don't recognize how you turn it. And you say, okay, so the middle could only be correct. And you got the middle. So there's a small delay going on how to move it. So when I say turn, I mean like this, like turning a page. And you got twisted, so you twist it around. So that's how you breathe them apart. And that because of that, you can always also make it look like it goes wrong. So, for example, I can turn now, I can turn again, and I can turn again. So now it looks like a mess. But when I turn them over like this right now, and now I twist them, it's completely solved. But it's just the orientation that's different now. But it's a very conceptive method. It's really good. Okay, so phase 1 is quite easy. You will tell the spectator, okay, I got 3 cards, I got the feet. Oh, there's an ambulance going through. Hang on a minute. Okay, that should be done. So I got the head, I got the middle, and I got the feet. Then I say the head will go to the top and the feet will go to the bottom. Now I turn them. It's important you don't twist them right now because you're giving away the method what will happen. So you twist them, twist, twist, twist. And now you do a small delay, like snapping the fingers, and now you turn them. So turn, turn, turn. So that's basically it. Right now I'm going to the spectator and I say, you can shuffle it. So this is phase 2. You can shuffle the cards. So they can shuffle it. Shuffle, 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 and I say you can turn them around. And right now I'm just spreading them out and I'll just pick a random card, it seems. But what I'm looking for is just the 2 shadows. So I'm looking, this got 1 shadow, this got 1 shadow, it's here, this one got here, this got 2. And I say, okay, let's use this one. Would you like it like this, or would you like to turn it and place it like this? It really doesn't matter because you just change the orientation to the scratch later on. So imagine we do it like this. Should be fine. And then I say, okay, you place it like this. Would you like it like this? Or would you like to do it like this? And also here it doesn't matter. So if they say, I want it like this, then you say, would you like to turn them around or only one? It doesn't really matter. And what I mostly do on this time is I see if I want it like this, I try to already orientate the shadow to the outside. So this one is already on the outside. And this one is on the inside. So I say, would you like to turn them around? The chance they say yes is quite big. So if they want it like this, it's even better for me. Because now I got like this. Twist. Twist. The scratch is here. Needs to go to the head. Turn. And it solves itself. Now you can go one step further. To be honest, I don't really recommend doing it one step more, but you can do it. You can do it endlessly, because if it works one time, you can make it work 20 times. But you will notice they will start heckle you because they wanted to go see it wrong. And if that's the case, go for it, because I love it when it goes wrong. Well, it goes wrong. So imagine they shake it up. I will say, let's put it down. So I'm just going to put them down in straight order. Right now I got a match, so I see this one is in the middle, and as long as this is in the middle, the middle card is in the middle, you always can make it work. But imagine it's like this. So the middle is on the outside. That's the only way the trick can go wrong. But as I said, wrong, it can't go wrong. And that's because of this card. So you will turn this around, shadow to the outside like always, this shadow to the outside like always, and now you see, oh, it goes wrong, it doesn't match up. The scratch always needs to go to the head. Doesn't matter if it's like here or here. Always make sure the scratch is to the outside when it goes wrong. So now it goes wrong, and then you say, well, I think we mixed her up a bit too much. Well, if I knew that, I would say at the beginning she will look like this, because else it won't make sense. And then I orientate it and make it work. So the only time it can really go wrong is when this card is here. But presentation-wise, you can make it work, and I'm going to explain you how. So it will look like this. So let's see, have a look at the middle, and I say, oh, that's the feet. And now I turn these over together, and I'm saying like, well, this is not how it should look, and I call this Spanish magic. So just bluffing through it. So officially this lays here, but because it goes wrong, you got no attention. You say, well, this doesn't make sense. Imagine it will look like this, and now you got it in the right position. So if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter how worse it is, because you make it just wrong again. So it doesn't really matter, but the end makes sense. And there is no one going to say like, oh, but that one should be here, so it doesn't make sense, because it's already wrong. So why would it be wrong like this? You will notice when you perform this, if this happens, you always get away with it. It's not an issue. But just do it casually. Don't hesitate on it. It's just, you say like, oh, well, this goes wrong. This shouldn't look like this, and then you just throw it in there like it goes really wrong, and then introduce this card and say, well, if it looks like this, I can't really perform, because imagine this would be how this will look on stage. It wouldn't look good, and that's phase 3. So yeah, it's quite a basic routine. It's quite simple. You can fit this in your wallet, and I'm sure you will get tons of fun of it. I have to say, when I introduced this to Green Lemon, so I went to the team and I said, I got this idea. Everyone said, well, that's quite a silly trick. And the only thing I said every time is, I know it's a silly trick, but it's a good damn silly trick. I'm so in love with this trick because of the simplicity. And I think when you look at the best magic tricks out there, most of them are so easy to do and quite silly. For example, have a look at the turbo stick. It's a simple move. It's a silly move. You think you won't get away with it, but you will get away with it, and it's a fun trick to perform. It's really good. I can name tons of simple, silly tricks that are the best because they're so simple, and I think this is one of them. And this is my new favorite trick to perform. It's a funny story. It's got a lot of engagement in there. The spectators can be involved, and on the end, everything is examinable. So you can just go like, oh yeah, sure, check it. There is nothing to see. There's no rough and smooth. There is no flaps in there. There is no magnets in there. It's just what you see is what you got. And that's, I think, the true power of this trick. Yeah, so that's it. So have a lot of fun with it. And we're also going to mention one extra detail. Okay, here is also an additional idea what you can do. So when we first designed these cards, we wanted to look like a small crate. So, or like a box when the system will be in, depends on the version you got. But because of the printing working, so you always need to have 3 millimeters bleeding on each side. That's how printing works, because they can cut a little bit off, they can cut a bit next to, a bit more to the left, a bit more to the right, etc., etc. So we thought if we make a black border around it, it should be fine, but it didn't improve on that. So we made it a little bit smaller and made a black corner around it, so you still got the look what we wanted. But if you want to have a full crate view, like it looks like a crate, so you don't got the card feel to it, so you don't got the black borders, you can simply cut these off. You should be fine, because the printing is always aligned. So let's cut these off, and just make sure you cut straight. You can use an X-Acto knife, but I just use scissors. You should be fine. And also make sure that you always cut from the back and not from the front, because for example this one got like a black border here, but it doesn't have it here, so you don't want to cut it straight a bit too far, because then you will see it on the back. And most of the people will look on the back most of the time, because the cards are mostly turned over. So just cut from the back and make sure it's nice and perfect. A straight line should be fine. Even it looks a bit like the black. Even it looks like the black will go a bit deeper with the red area on the corner. It isn't. So this should be one line and you should be fine. Just make sure if you cut it, the corners can be a bit sharp. So what you can use is like a clipper to make it round. You got these in card size, 3.5 millimeters. But I will just use the scissor and just cut the corner so it will look a bit more straight or round, sorry. Like this. And now it looks a bit more like a real crate instead of like a card. It's a personal preference, do whatever you like, but it's just an extra ID that you can use. Okay, here's another ID. So for example, if you pick out the middle one, so the spectators just shuffle the cards and you just pick the middle one. For example, you're in a rush, or your brain is a bit melted and you pick the wrong one. You don't want to go back like, oh shit, sorry, my bad, we need this one, because then you will give away the method. So for example, you will go for this one. There's a nice way to do another presentation. So now you just pick the right one, the middle one, and you say, would you like it here or would you like it here? And then, for example, they'll choose it here, it should be fine. And then you say a double sentence, so dual reality. So you say, would you like this next to it? Normally I'll say it in Dutch, just let me have a quick think how to say it in English. So you will say, would you like to beside it or next to it? So basically what you're saying is the same thing, but you give the option, it's a choice. So don't make sure you say next to it or beside of it, just hold it in your hand and say, would you like this one next to it or beside it? And if they say next to it, you just throw it there. If they say beside it, okay, so beside the rest. And then it should be like this. And just go continuously here. And now you should be fine, because now everything will look how it should look.